Welcome into 13 News. So this afternoon, testimony continues in the Delphi murders trial. The court is now adjourned for lunch. And this morning, the crime scene investigator from the Indiana State Police took the stand to explain what was collected, including girls' clothing that were found in nearby Deer Creek. Now, the crime scene investigator says that Libby had on Abby's clothes when the bodies were discovered. The crime scene investigator also says that a logical assumption is that Abby's clothes were taken off of her and then put on Libby. Now, yesterday, investigators took the stand and testified in graphic detail about the crime scene. Our 13 News legal analyst says Richard Allen's defense is now trying to poke holes in the prosecution's case. Yesterday, the state called 4 law enforcement witnesses to the stand, showing and describing to jurors 117 crime scene photos from the day the girls were found murdered. And the descriptions are graphic. The pictures show the injuries to both girls' throats, blood on both of the girls, and officers explain how they found sticks on and around the bodies. Detectives described the ground around them, saying it was saturated in blood. Jurors also got to see a photo of the bullet cartridge that investigators found near Libby. Prosecutors say they tested that unspent bullet casing and it matches a gun owned by Richard Allen. Each one of those witnesses was then cross-examined by the defense, challenging the evidence presented by the prosecution and how it was handled.
Another example would be the sticks that were found on one of the victims' bodies. They really highlighted that, one, that was a piece of evidence that was found, and two, that it wasn't originally collected. And they even got the witness to admit that they didn't collect it initially because they didn't think that it was pertinent, but someone eventually must have thought it was pertinent because they went back to get it later.
That's our 13 News legal expert, Katie Jackson-Lindsay, and she says the defense also entered several pieces of evidence which shows they are trying to build a case and drive a point home to the jury. And Richard Allen's defense team has sarcastically referred to the state's magic bullet. That will become a central focus of the trial, and we'll certainly hear more about that in the coming days. And one other important note from yesterday involves recordings from Libby's cell phone. That likely includes this audio and video. Listen. So you've heard this. We've had this for years. We've been playing it to you for years. The defense wants to set up guidelines about how that video can be shown and what investigators can say about it. They do not want it played on a loop like you're seeing here. And they do not want witnesses to identify the words and sounds on the recordings. The defense this is what they're saying, it is up to the jury to determine what words or sounds exist on the recordings. Now, the last officer on the stand yesterday will be back today for cross-examination, and the judge has cautioned jurors that the rest of the week will be difficult. Our Bob Siegel is in the courtroom right now, and we're going to have the latest on today's testimony on 13 News starting at 4. We'll see you then. And for the latest on the trial, be sure to watch our Delphi debrief, and it is on WTHR Plus. Bob Siegel, Emily Longnecker, and our legal expert, Katie Jackson-Lindsay, that you just saw. They're going to be breaking down all the major developments from the courtroom. This airs weeknights at 10 p.m. You can also stream the show on demand on WTHR Plus right now. It is a free Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and Roku. You can find it in those places for free.